Wow, you guys, this was a big project. We're gonna get into using a jigsaw, a wood graining tool, making pocket holes, and lots more. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Refurbished Life. My name is Crystal. A few months ago, I was looking around online and I saw this really gorgeous entry table for $3,000. So I decided I wanted to do a dupe of it. I looked around on Marketplace for several months and I finally found a chest for $20. It's pretty old and beat up, but I'm gonna see if I can turn this $20 Marketplace find into a $3,000 high-end dupe for my own home. Let's get into it. Now that I've gotten that piece off and we're seeing what is underneath, it's really not aesthetically pleasing. Like all these edges and pieces that are joined, and the wood itself is not some beautiful wood underneath. So my original plan to do complete sanding and then a wash or stain or antique glaze or anything like that is not going to work. I'm going to have to just do wood filling in all these areas, sand it down, and then I have options to do either like a faux Pottery Barn finish on the back, sides, and top, or I could use my wood graining tool to do a faux wood finish. So I'll kind of mull it over and see what I want to do the most. Dang it. These things are stuck, and I think I'm gonna have to buy some Bondo. Back from Lowe's, first trip of many for this project. Bondo is dry in 15 minutes, so you have to get an amount that is a workable amount on the cardboard and mix it up real quickly. If you make more than this amount, it's gonna dry up before you can even use it. I had to use so much Bondo around the perimeter of this thing that I knew it wasn't gonna be perfect on the first sand down, that there was gonna be little spots that still needed to be filled. But that's really easy to do with a simple runny wood filler that comes out of a tube like this. And then for the bigger spots, like corners, I use plastic wood. It comes in a tin can here. It's probably just under Bondo in strength, and I use it a lot. And it's back to Lowe's again. I need to get some plywood to cut up the shapes for the front of our entry table. I wound up going with this smoother half-inch piece so I would have less wood filling to do on the finish. And it was a few dollars off. Then I picked up a long wooden dowel to make legs out of. I also picked up some angled plates so that our legs wouldn't go straight down but at an angle. Alright, so I've finished the second layer of wood filler. It's dried overnight. And now all of the lines are going to be nice and crisp once I sand it, and they'll be ready for primer. I also did some filler on the bottom and on the inside on the bottom. And then if you're wondering why I haven't messed with the lid yet, it's because I still need to cut this lip off so that it's flat the whole way down. So I'm going to take it over to my brother's house because he has a table saw, and I'm going to do that. Then we'll be ready to do some wood graining with our wood graining tool on the sides, back, and the top lid. And then we're also going to cut out the shapes in the wood we just got at Lowe's for the front.
This is my first time ever using a table saw. They kind of freak me out, so thanks to my brother for showing me the ropes and letting me give it a go. Now I'm going to get started on drawing a pattern for the shapes that I'm going to be cutting with a jigsaw, and it's going to be the first time I've ever used a jigsaw in this way, so it'll be an experiment.
Now I've got this piece cut on the front and little bits of tape put on the edges, so now I can draw my design right on here. And then when I'm done and have this visual, Then I can take this off and put it on the pieces of wood that I'm going to be cutting with my jigsaw, and that will be the pattern. I think we're ready to cut it now.
This is where I mess up. I was looking at what I thought was the guide in front of it, but apparently not. To cut all these curvy shapes, you need a scroll saw blade in the jigsaw.
I'm laying these on the ground as I go so that I don't lose track of what goes where. I totally forgot to take something into account, and that is the lid. I didn't measure the shapes up to this point. So I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do now because I've been outside cutting the pieces already. I could place them and then continue the shapes up further. I don't know how that's going to look either, because since this is going to separate them and this has like a little bit of overhang here, you'll probably see the misalignment of the shapes as they're joined together. So it might be a bit distracting for the eyes. I'm not sure. I decided that I'm gonna go without the lid, so I'm just gonna flip this over. I put extra wood filling in any imperfections. I'm gonna sand that down, and then I'm gonna use my wood graining tool on the top, sides, and back, and then I'll put a couple wooden posts underneath the lip to anchor the legs onto, and I'll use my pocket hole jig to do that. And back to Lowe's again to get some wood to make the posts underneath it to anchor the legs into. So I fit it right to the lines there. So I can take it out now and make pocket holes, and then when I screw it in, I'll put it right up to the line so I know that it will be level for when I put the leg mounts on it. If you guys want to see a super quick tutorial on using a Craig jig, I have a video that's about 3 minutes long that you can watch on my channel. Wedged it in and it's ready for screws. Now it's back to sanding and getting these pieces ready to attach to the chest. So when I'm doing these pieces, I glue them first and then I totally let them dry before I use my nail gun. And the reason I do this is because once the glue's between these surfaces, it's really slippery and I don't want to put any nails in if it moves on accident and have to rip the piece off and readjust it. Now I'm ready to nail my pieces in. I use this Stanley corded nail gun. It's for staples or nails. But I wind up running into a little problem. the surface of the chest isn't totally flat, so it doesn't meet up close enough for the nail to go through far enough. And since this nail gun is already using its max length on nails, I either need to go buy a different nail gun or use my pressure nail gun. So that's what I'm going to do. And push this back. Watch your fingers. The side of the nail gun will have the minimum and maximum pressure that you need for the nails to shoot, and after that it's pretty easy and quick. Then it's time for wood filler to make sure these pieces are nice and seamless to the chest before we prime. For small jobs I use the liquid filler, for moderate jobs I use the plastic wood, and for big jobs I use the Bondo. Finally ready for paint. This color is called Natural Wicker. I stippled it on the front to try to add some texture and went over the entire thing and then realized it's a little too warm for what we're needing for the original photo. Alright, this is our new lineup. I'm gonna use this tan. It has a little more cool tones in it, but it's still warm. And then this paint as well I'm gonna be blending. There's some texture because of the brush, but I think I want even more, so I'm going to add in some Rolatex. I've used this to do like aged stone vessels if you guys have seen some of my other videos. So I'm gonna give that a go. So I put like a little pile here and I'm gonna stipple it into the brush as I'm going. So this is what we have now. I felt like the tones needed to be blended in a little bit better, so I wet down my brush and stippled on a mixture, a 50-50 mixture of the two paint colors I used. I accidentally messed up and went over this once and then realized it wasn't recording, so here it is. I'm going for a more organic feel, kind of like stone. I thought I would go ahead and put the legs in so that I could flip this over and start on the wood graining. So I drilled holes in the legs and then tried to put this hanger bolt in, but I didn't realize that you can't drill a hole the same size as the hanger bolt because then it won't stay in as tightly, and what you need is actually this little part here. It attaches to your hanger bolt using the drill so you don't ruin the coils. And then this happened. So you know what that means. Yep. I feel like I live here rent-free. Long story short, they didn't have the hanger bolt driver piece that I needed, so I went and checked out how much just buying the legs are, and for one leg it's almost as much as the whole 8-foot piece of dowel. So I decided to go online and order these. While I'm waiting for those to come in the mail, I tape it off and get ready for wood graining. I picked this dark gray color as the grain. I work in one section at a time, and then I get the graining tool and I rock back and forth to make the grain. You can do it any way you like, and if you don't get it right the first time how you like it, you can just go ahead and go again, give a little spritz of water, and relay the paint. Make sure to wipe off the tool between coats so it doesn't gather up. After that's all dry, I grab my deck brush, and I'm actually using the color from earlier called Natural Wicker. I paint this on to kind of mute down the grain and give it some variation of light and dark. Here's a reminder of the kind of colors we're going for. Now to add some more warmth and dimension, I'm going to use a stain called Special Walnut. So what I'm going to do for the top coat is I'm going to use this Minwax water-based polyacrylic in satin first, because when a top coat has a sheen to it, it's more durable than a matte finish, but I want a matte finish in the end. So I'm going to do this one first, and then this new one that I'm going to try has really good reviews, General Finishes Flat Out Flat. Make sure to give your top coat a really good mix to make sure none of the sediment is down in the bottom, so it gets an even sheen throughout, so you don't get streaks on your furniture. I thought I'd try out this new foam roller that I ordered on Amazon, but I was not very impressed. Lots of bubbles, so I went back to what I always use. Put a little water on it, wring it out. This one's a surefire way to get a smooth finish. Time to try out the new top coat. I apply it the same way, one side to the other. Don't pick up in the middle, and you gotta make sure to clean up any dribble that goes over the side before it dries. And I could not believe how well this worked. It sucked out every bit of shine. I'm not a sponsor, but I love it. The legs finally came in the mail, and they are beautiful, but the sad part is that now I have to do the same steps to them as I did for the rest of it. If you've made it this far, thank you for sticking around, and if you like what you see, please remember to hit that subscribe. It helps this channel grow. It's totally free, and it will alert you every time I upload a new video. I can't do it without you guys, so thank you. After the stain, I applied Flat Out Flat to the legs as well, screwed in the plates and put in some extra supporting plates on each side, and finally worked the end of our project. Here's a little reminder of the before, and here's the after. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.